Welcome to Zyla English.
Everyday English conversations for speaking practice.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Zyla English. I'm Emma.
And I'm David. We're really happy to have you learning with us today.
Thank you so much for joining us. Whether you're listening on your way to work, at home, or just relaxing somewhere, we're glad you're here.
Absolutely. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to Zyla English, give this episode a like, and share it with a friend who loves learning English.
Your support really helps us keep creating lessons like this, so thank you very much.
All right, Emma, what are we talking about today?
Well, today we have a really interesting topic. We're talking about something that almost everyone has experienced at some point.
Let me guess. Something a little annoying?
Exactly. We're talking about people who cut in line.
Oh, wow, yeah. That happens all the time. And honestly, it can make people pretty upset.
It definitely can. But before we explain everything, let's listen to today's dialogue one time.
Then we'll come back and go through all the important vocabulary and expressions together.
Great. Let's listen.
I can't believe it took us 2 hours to get here. The traffic in New York is unbelievable.
Yeah, but just relax, honey. We're here and we're going on vacation. In a few hours, we'll be in Hawaii and you'll be on the golf course.
Oh no, look at that line. It must be a mile long. There's no way I'm waiting for another 2 hours.
Honey, don't.
Hey man, the end of the line is over there.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I was here first and you can't cut in line like this.
Says who?
I do.
So sue me.
All right, that's it.
Well, that didn't sound very friendly.
Not at all. It sounds like somebody was having a really bad day.
Exactly. But instead of talking about the argument, let's look at some useful vocabulary from the dialogue.
Great idea. Let's start with our first word.
The word is unbelievable.
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 Now, when we hear unbelievable, we often think of something amazing or incredible.
That's right. But in this dialogue, the speaker is actually using it to express frustration.
Exactly. He's complaining about the traffic in New York.
So he's not saying the traffic is wonderful. He's saying it's so bad that it's hard to believe.
Right. The traffic was unbelievably terrible.
Let's move on to the next expression. The woman is trying to calm her husband down, and she says, "In a few hours, we'll be in Hawaii, and you'll be on the golf course."
We'll be in Hawaii, and you'll be on the golf course.
This is a really useful way to talk about your future location.
Exactly. You're talking about where someone will be in the future.
For example, David, where will you be tomorrow?
Don't worry, Emma. I'll be in the office tomorrow.
Good. That's exactly where I need you to be.
Well, that's reassuring.
All right. Let's continue with another expression from the dialogue.
The phrase is a mile long.
A mile long.
A mile long.
A mile long.
Now, the line probably wasn't actually a mile long.
Right. It's an exaggeration.
People use this expression when they want to emphasize that something is extremely long.
So when the man sees the airport line, he's basically saying, "Wow, that line is really, really long."
Exactly. It's a very common way to exaggerate for effect.
And that brings us to our next phrase.
There's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way.
Before we explain it, let's look at a few examples.
There's no way I can have those reports finished today.
The stadium is so crowded that there's no way we'll find a seat.
Do you think Michael's gonna buy that house?
There's no way he has enough money to buy it.
All right, so from these examples, what does there's no way mean?
It means something is impossible.
Exactly. You don't believe something can happen.
Or you don't think something is possible under the circumstances.
Right. So in the dialogue, when the man says, "There's no way I'm waiting for another 2 hours," he means he absolutely refuses to do it.
And honestly, he doesn't sound very patient.
Not at all.
All right, everyone, let's continue with another really useful phrase from today's lesson.
The phrase is cut in line.
Cut in line.
Cut in line.
Cut in line.
This is a phrase you'll hear quite often in everyday English.
Especially when people are waiting somewhere and someone decides they don't want to wait.
Exactly. Let's look at a few examples.
Excuse me, I'm really late. Can I cut in line, please?
I hate it when people cut in line at the bank. It's so rude.
I think it's okay when a pregnant woman cuts in line.
All right, so from those examples, we can see that cut in line means moving in front of people who were already waiting.
Right. Imagine you're standing in a line for 20 minutes and suddenly somebody walks right to the front.
Most people probably wouldn't be very happy about that.
Definitely not.
So if someone cuts in line, they skip ahead of everyone else instead of waiting their turn.
And that's exactly what caused the problem in today's dialogue.
All right, Emma, let's move on to our next phrase.
This one is interesting.
Very interesting.
The phrase is sue me.
Sue me.
Sue me.
Sue me.
Now, this isn't a phrase you want to use casually.
No, not at all. It can sound pretty rude.
In the literal sense, to sue someone means to take legal action against them in court.
Right. Usually because you believe they caused some kind of harm or damage.
But in everyday conversation, when someone says sue me, they usually don't mean it literally.
Exactly. They're often saying something like, I don't care what you think, or there's nothing you can do about it.
It's a very dismissive response.
And honestly, it's usually used when someone wants to provoke another person.
Which is exactly what happened in today's dialogue.
At this point, I think we should listen to the dialogue one more time.
Good idea. This time, pay special attention to why the man says, sue me.
And think about whether he really plans to take the situation to court.
Or if he's simply being rude and challenging the other person.
I can't believe it took us 2 hours to get here. The traffic in New York is unbelievable.
Yeah, but just relax, honey. We're here and we're going on vacation. In a few hours, we'll be in Hawaii and you'll be on the golf course.
Oh no, look at that line. It must be a mile long. There's no way I'm waiting for another 2 hours.
Honey, don't.
Hey man, the end of the line is over there.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I was here first and you can't cut in line like this.
Says who?
I do.
So sue me.
All right, that's it.
All right, welcome back.
So, David, do you think he was actually talking about a lawsuit?
Not at all. He wasn't talking about court or lawyers.
Exactly. He was basically saying, I don't care what you think.
Right. He knew he was cutting in line, and he wasn't interested in being polite.
Which, honestly, made the situation even worse.
Definitely. Sometimes a simple apology can prevent a big argument.
But this guy chose a very different approach.
Well, Emma, we have something special today.
That's right. We're going to talk about a British English expression that's related to our lesson.
And for English learners, this is really useful because you may hear different expressions depending on the country.
Exactly. In American English, we usually say cut in line.
But in British English, people often say jump the queue.
Jump the queue.
Jump the queue.
So, although the words are different, the meaning is exactly the same.
Right. Both expressions describe someone moving ahead of other people who have been waiting.
You know, I've heard that people in Britain take queues very seriously.
I've heard the same thing.
Apparently, there are a lot of unwritten rules about waiting your turn.
That's true. And if someone jumps the queue, people definitely notice.
Maybe they won't start a fight, but they'll probably let you know they're unhappy.
Exactly. You might hear some complaints, some sighs, or maybe a few disapproving looks.
And honestly, that's enough to make most people feel uncomfortable.
What's interesting is that queuing is often seen as a matter of courtesy.
Right. It's about respecting other people's time.
If someone arrived before you, they should be served before you.
Seems fair to me.
Me too.
So, David, let's talk a little more about this idea of queuing.
Absolutely. It's actually a fascinating cultural topic.
You know, people often joke that the British love standing in queues.
Yes, I've heard that many times.
But honestly, there seems to be some truth behind it.
I think so too. In many situations, waiting your turn is considered very important.
And if someone jumps the queue, people usually notice immediately.
Exactly. Even if nobody starts an argument, you'll often get some very obvious reactions.
Maybe a sigh.
Maybe a look.
Maybe a polite but firm comment.
Right, something like, "Excuse me, I think the queue starts back there."
That's a very British way of handling it.
And it's not only at airports or train stations.
That's true. Queues can appear almost anywhere.
For example, imagine you're at a supermarket trying to pick up some vegetables.
Let's say someone is already standing in front of the oranges.
Many people would simply wait until that person finishes.
Right. They wouldn't immediately reach across and grab what they wanted.
Exactly. They would wait their turn and then step forward.
It's seen as polite and respectful.
Here's another interesting example.
Go ahead.
Imagine 5 people all want the same item at a supermarket.
Maybe some oranges.
Or maybe tomatoes.
Apparently, we're spending a lot of time in the produce section today.
We really are.
But I get your point.
Instead of pushing forward, people often form a small informal queue.
Everyone waits a moment, takes what they need, and lets the next person go.
Exactly. It's a simple system, but it works surprisingly well.
And if someone really needs to reach for something?
Then it's common to apologize first.
Right. Something like, "Sorry, could I just grab one of those?"
Exactly.
A small apology can make a big difference.
It shows respect for the other person.
And it helps avoid unnecessary conflict.
Another place where queues are especially important is public transportation.
Ah, yes, especially in large cities.
For example, on the Underground in London, there are certain unwritten rules people follow.
One of the most famous is how people use escalators.
That's right.
People usually stand on one side and leave the other side open for people who want to walk.
Exactly. Everyone understands the system.
And if you accidentally block the walking side, someone will probably remind you.
Usually quite quickly.
What's interesting is that these rules help large numbers of people move efficiently.
They do. When everyone follows the same system, things run much more smoothly.
And honestly, that's probably one reason people care so much about queues.
I agree. It's not only about waiting.
It's also about fairness.
Right. The idea is simple. First come, first served.
And most people feel that rule should apply to everyone.
Now let's compare that with the situation from today's dialogue.
Well, the man clearly wasn't interested in following the rules.
Not at all.
He saw the long line and decided he didn't want to wait.
Which immediately created tension.
Then, when someone challenged him, he responded rudely.
Exactly. Instead of apologizing, he made the situation worse.
And that's why the argument escalated so quickly.
So today's lesson isn't really just about vocabulary.
That's true.
It's also about understanding social expectations.
Knowing the language is important.
But understanding the culture behind the language is important too.
Exactly. Sometimes one small phrase can teach us a lot about how people interact.
And today's expressions are perfect examples of that.
Well, David, we're almost out of time for today's lesson.
We are, but before we finish, let's quickly recap the useful phrases we learned today.
Great idea. The first word was unbelievable.
Unbelievable means something is very hard to believe, but in today's dialogue, it was used to show frustration.
Right. The man said the traffic in New York was unbelievable, meaning it was extremely bad.
The next phrase was be in, as in, we'll be in Hawaii in a few hours.
We use this to talk about where someone will be in the future.
Then we learned a mile long.
A mile long is an exaggeration. It means something is really, really long.
After that, we learned there's no way.
There's no way means something is impossible, or you strongly refuse to do something.
Then we talked about cut in line.
Cut in line means to move in front of people who are already waiting.
We also learned sue me.
Sue me literally connects to taking someone to court, but in conversation, it often means, I don't care what you think.
And finally, we learned the British English phrase, jump the queue.
Jump the queue means the same thing as cut in line.
So in American English, people often say cut in line.
And in British English, people often say jump the queue.
Exactly. Different phrase, same meaning.
We hope today's lesson helped you learn some useful real-world English.
And hopefully it also gave you a little insight into how people think about queues and waiting their turn.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Zyla English.
And please give this lesson a like and share it with anyone who is learning English.
Your support helps us create more lessons and podcasts just like this one.
Thank you so much for listening, studying, and improving your English with us.
We always appreciate you spending part of your day with us.
Take care, keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next lesson.
Thanks again, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.